What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. And we're back with another incredible guest. My next guest is the creative force and founder of ChiChi Fit, a musical theater fitness brand that blends the joy of performance with physical well-being. Please welcome Danella Mercati. Danella, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. Now, I love what you've created, and I kind of want to unpack what it looks like because it's very different than other like dance type classes out there because you're very passionate about theater and fitness, empowering women and just reframing and relabeling what menopause looks like for women. So, can you tell us a little bit about how Chi Chi Fit got started?
Yeah, sure. So it's really a fusion of my biggest passions, my lifelong passions, actually. I mean, I would say ChiChi Fit began when I was 10 years old, and that was when I saw
Mm,
my first musical show, or should I say the first musical that really hit my heart hard. And to this day is still the musical that sits in the depths of my heart. And it literally was the show that made me go, that's what I want my life to look like. This is
yeah.
the journey I'm going on. I was 10 years old. I never deviated. I danced, I acted, I went to singing classes, I played all the roles in the school shows. And when I was 18, I was fortunate enough to get a place at Guildford School of Acting, which is one of the most prestigious schools in the UK, to study musical theatre. So it's
Cool.
always been musical theatre. There is something back then, I think even when I was 10, I could feel the power of a show tune, the lyrics, the
Yeah.
storytelling, the melody, and how the effect that had on me, the way I felt
Yeah.
as a very naive 10-year-old who wasn't trying to find meaning in
Sure.
anything. I was
Yeah.
just living life. Um, anyway, fast forward, I was, I guess, a failed actress, really. I'd like to say my dream was to end up on the West End stage and in the US on Broadway.
Yeah.
It's an elusive world to sort of crave,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was aware of that. I was a bit of a realist
Oh, that's
combined with
good.
combined with a romanticist, but the realist was pretty much there, and I wanted to sort of be controlling my life. So the audition process didn't sit well with me. The
Mm.
the rejection, I was tough. I'm quite tough-skinned. I was brought up in a way that I needed to be,
Yeah.
but I still didn't like it.
Yeah.
It didn't. It's just not nice. Um,
It feels
so,
yucky, right?
huh?
It feels yucky.
It does feel yucky. And
Yeah.
I know they sort of say you pick yourself up, you develop resilience. I've got a bit of an issue over a lifetime of either being told that, but you'll be so resilient, or my daughter, for example, at school going, yes, but it's building resilience. I feel like,
Yeah.
no, life is better than that. You shouldn't have to develop such powerful levels of resilience to get
Yeah.
through. So if that's what you're having to do,
Yeah.
deviate, find another little path. Because whilst resilience has its place and it's necessary, it's not all about that. And actually, that's one big message. One of my biggest learnings in life is that resilience isn't quite the powerful, positive word that people seem to think it is. If you're
Yeah.
having to be so resilient, things perhaps might be better elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, in that moment of auditioning, the resilience thing was, I don't need that much. I don't need that. I was also, when I left drama school, and drama school had been very much about dancing, 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 which in turn, again, I didn't really piece those bits together, means you're fit.
Yeah.
I was fit. I looked a certain way because I danced all day, every
Yeah.
day, and I was fit. I wasn't born that way, but I thought I was because I was 18 to 21. But when I left drama school and suddenly this routine and structure was whipped from me, I started losing fitness, feeling a
Mm.
bit yucky, putting on weight, not being what is certainly less so nowadays, which is a very good thing, but certainly,
Yeah.
rewind 25 years ago, how you looked,
Yeah.
particularly for the musical theatre stage, they were very critical and quite in your face saying,
Oh yeah.
you
I
need
can
to
only
lose a few
imagine.
pounds. But my thing was, I didn't need to lose a few pounds to make it onto stage. I needed to lose a few pounds and get fitter to feel good here.
Yeah.
Because I realized very early on that when I did those things and I felt better up here, that changes everything. It changes the decisions you make throughout a day. It changes everything because
Oh
you
yeah.
feel better. So really simplistically, I learned if you feel good, everything starts falling into place. And most of it starts up here and actually
Mhm.
then works its way down into whether you're fit and strong and pretty or blah, 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 all those things. Do you know what I mean?
Oh
It has,
yeah.
it begins and ends up here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got quite into my fitness. Nothing flashy, nothing fancy. I couldn't afford all the dance classes at the fancy studios in London where I was living. I put my jogging shoes on and off I trotted
Yeah.
to just start feeling better. And that's free and it's available to everyone. And I sort of fell in love with it. I am not a runner. I've also discovered that. On no
Yeah.
level am I designed to run, but I like a little run. I like a little run. I like
Yeah.
my music. I
Yeah.
find I put my songs on, I get inspiration, the songs. And then that's where I was like, music, whatever makes you excited. But for me,
Yeah.
it's musical theatre. It
Mm.
is so powerful. And I think it was in that moment where I was running, getting fitter, mixing it up, doing a bit of yoga, a bit of Pilates, all those things, and feeling good up here, listening to show tunes and getting inspired. Um, that again, I didn't piece it together then. It's
Sure.
only in retrospectively I realized these were all the signs of
Yeah.
how I got to here. I also trained in all sorts of massage, primarily
Oh,
tweener Chinese massage, Thai traditional massage, simply because that's my mum's world, or
okay.
sadly was my mum's world. We've
Mm.
just lost
I'm
her.
sorry. I'm sorry.
But she
You
was
lost.
a powerful force and an incredible teacher, healer, expert acupuncturist as
Oh
well.
wow.
And it just made sense when I was 18 to 21, whilst I was training and whilst I was at drama school, to also qualify in all of these things so
Okay.
that one, to show, be part of the family's passion, that
Yeah.
side of the family, and two, what a brilliant skill to have under
Yeah.
your belt.
Absolutely.
And I just saw it as maybe, an opportunity that when I was an out of work actress, I could be doing treatments and
Sure.
massage in health spas. Anyway, that ended up being what took me off to another trajectory of life. And again, this is another lesson I say to people. It's like, I probably shouldn't say this, but I didn't really love massage. I
Sure.
didn't
But no, that makes sense.
doing
It's like
massage.
a
I
means to
love
an
this.
end.
Yeah. But it was that job, not my passion job, that actually took me in a direction that pieced everything together for me. So that's when I'm always like, just trust the process, say yes, grab opportunity, and see where it takes you.
Yep. Yeah.
You can always say no
Yeah.
if it suddenly doesn't feel right anymore. So I got a job offer to go and do massage, not performing, massage at an amazing health spa, well, resort in the Caribbean, Parrot
Oh
Key.
wow.
Stunning. Um,
Wow. I'll take that job. Let's go.
well, I think again, as a 20, I think I was 22 at the time. I just took it for granted. When it's
Yeah.
just youth. You just run with
Right.
it. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I went out there and it was only newly opened. So it
Okay.
was a really big deal on an island where paparazzi couldn't get there. It only had this resort on the island. It still only does, except there's a few villas now
Okay.
from people who've visited the island and have purchased through the hotels. So
Sure.
that's all there is. You wouldn't go to the island for anything else other than to be in Parrot Key in this resort and experiencing everything that they have to offer. And I was very sort of quite instrumental actually in setting up the spa accidentally because I'd
Wow.
worked in so many of the top London spas that when I was out there, I had a few ideas, just again,
Yeah.
not because I was an expert. I'd just been in it and I'd
Yeah.
seen and experienced. And that was another little moment where I thought, people think you have to have qualifications in absolutely everything to say you can do it. I
Right.
ended up doing something quite high level, not because I was qualified or even claimed to be, but because I had an idea and I
Yeah.
had thoughts and vision that I was prepared to confidently share if it was worth, listening to.
Yeah.
So that was exciting and definitely nothing like performing on stage and dancing. Um, and then I got one of my first guests who got assigned to me for daily massage was Sir Paul McCartney. Sir Paul
Wow.
McCartney. Yeah.
Holy
So,
cow.
ex- I
That
think I
is
said that.
that's awesome.
Um, so for 3 weeks, I had to go down to his beach villa to massage him.
Yeah.
Um, and he was wonderful.
Yeah.
And again, 22-year-old me was, it was just, I don't know, it never overwhelmed me
But
or blew
think
my
about just the
mind.
opportunity, just because you said yes, just like follow, like you say, trust the process, just following that process and being able to say that you met him and you were, massaged him for 3 weeks. And God, I mean, I'm sure you talked to him. I'm sure he would have had a lot of wisdom for you when during at that point in your life.
Well, actually, possibly the biggest piece of wisdom, and again, it was accidental. He was really intrigued why this uh, English girl was on this really remote island because
Yeah.
most of the people in the spa were Balinese, Thai.
Okay.
They'd brought them all in, and then there was me. Um, and I'd been brought in very specifically because I do so many different therapies, but also because I'm English and I'm female, and some
Yeah.
people only want to be massaged by a woman, whatever. They had to
Right.
have enough to choose from. So he was intrigued by that. And I got a chance to say, well, I'm actually an actress, clearly an out of work actress, but an
Yeah.
actress all the same.
That's
And
okay.
yeah, and that's my dream. And this is just something in between. It was an opportunity that came my way. I couldn't turn it down. I was interested. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to try and get back on that stage. And his kind of words of wisdom over 3 weeks, so it was quite a long-winded journey of us getting to
Sure.
these acts, was listen, consider other sides of this kind of spectrum. You don't have to necessarily be the performer
Yeah.
to have achieved or to be living your passions. You could
Wow.
direct, you could choreograph, you could open a drama school. He's got one in Liverpool. And
Oh,
so he talked a lot about that and saying it was an incredible thing that he'd done, going to that side of things. Um, so yeah, whilst I was on this island and had time to think, I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go and teach others to perform.
yeah.
Um,
Wow.
and then sort of selfishly thought that way I can do all my favorite
Yeah.
musicals, whichever ones I want to do, I'm in charge. So yeah, that was the beginning of going, I don't need to be the performer. I can
Mm.
do something else. And when I returned,
How eye-opening though, right?
yeah,
And it's
and
just like it kind of like sassy, like satisfies that need for being in that industry and being able to help others too at the same time.
and ironically, and again, that's now, let's fast forward 25
Yeah.
years or more. The weirdest thing is now I run the brand, I run ChiChi Fit. So I'm training people all over the UK, all over the world
Yeah.
to teach these dance fitness classes, Broadway style dance fitness classes. But I also teach them because I
Yeah.
want to be teaching to make sure I'm the best so I can deliver the best to my instructors. And ironically, in my classes, I play the lead role. I play the lead role every show that we do throughout a class, and we might dip into 11, 12 routines per
Yeah.
class from different musicals. I play the lead in all of them.
Oh,
And I
wow.
thought, how incredible that I had never anticipated that I could be the failed actor who ends up playing the lead role in every show.
Yeah.
Um, Front stage with huge
Yeah.
rooms full of amazing people dancing with me and facilitating that for
Mm.
other people.
Yeah.
They don't need to be trained, they don't need to be dancers, they don't need to be amazing. They just need to have a passion and maybe an ounce of courage and a dream.
Yeah. I love
So
it.
it's like all self-fulfilled on
Yeah.
its route to the stage.
But look at how you stepped outside of the box and you had an idea of what it was supposed to look like for you, right? Like I'm supposed to follow this path and I want to be on this stage. And as you've like just kind of trusted the process and flowed with life, you've created something even better than what you probably could possibly imagine, right? Being able to be front and center on stage every time that you teach, being able to encourage and empower other people to do the same thing, especially if they have that like that need to do that. I mean, just super cool. Like you did not you stepped outside of the box and said, "I'm going to make it what happen one way or the other," and that's it.
Oh my God, literally spot on. I feel almost embarrassed to say that I totally am living my dream, and it's
Mm,
not the dream I thought it was going to
yeah,
be. But also the sort of layers of that dream are also so different from what I realized gave you satisfaction and fulfillment. What truly drives me now, because if people say to me, what am I? Am I an artist? Am I a
Yeah.
creator? Am I an entrepreneur? Am I in the health and well-being industry? I'm all of those
Yeah,
things,
for sure.
really, all thrown into one. But what happens now when I do what I do isn't just I get fitter because I'm doing a lot of fitness and I get to lead these really fabulous classes. The depth of it is I get to meet the most amazing people. We've created community. I
Mm,
never understood the value of community
yeah.
until ChiChi Fit. And now all the instructors who've trained with me, with the ChiChi Fit brand, and they've taken them out to their own communities, they've created. So I get warm fuzzies on a daily
I
basis
love
when I
it.
see my instructors sharing their classes, their communities. And I'm like, wow, all because of a fabulous show tune and the
Yeah.
idea of dancing along to it. Community is being created. And in
Yeah.
doing so, people are finding a place they belong.
Mm,
People are finding friends at a later
yeah.
stage in life. Um, People are getting fitter and healthier.
Yeah.
Key
Yeah.
element. I'm really big on that.
Yeah.
Listening to so many health stories or poor health stories, I'm
Oh,
passionate about helping people to find a fun way that's not a chore
yeah.
to be their fittest, happiest, and
Mm,
healthiest self, because
yeah.
happy is so vital. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
So let's talk about who ChiChi Fit is for. I just love your brand. I think it's just so like original and like that definitely speaks to a certain group of people. So who would you say is your ideal client that comes to take your classes, whether in person or virtually, because you offer both?
Well, this is another learning curve. For me personally, as the instructor, Danella, I attract a lot of my kind. So,
Sure.
sort of age 40 to 60 is my kind of demograph. People perhaps journeying through similar stages of life to me, menopause. I don't know if they just gravitate towards me because as you gravitate towards an
Yeah.
instructor.
Yeah.
And they are warm, wonderful, creative, kind, fun people who've got, perhaps mothers and
Mm,
experiencing that phase in life where they're either going through tricky teenage years or beginning to be empty nesters. And there's so many dynamics that are going on with the demographic of who comes to my classes, and I really understand them.
yeah.
However, I've got instructors who are in their early 20s, and I look at who they attract and they're attracting younger people, definitely mixed in with a
Sure.
fabulous variety. And I think that's another area that brings me such joy is this inclusivity.
Yeah.
Everybody, when they step into what I refer to as Chi Chi world, fits in.
Yeah.
They truly fit in, whether they're 21 or 81 and they've ended up in the same class,
Yeah.
they fit.
Yeah.
Everyone fits. It's so inclusive. And again, inclusivity, just like I said, community. I know it sounds really naive. I hadn't realized the power and value and necessity of it. I feel the same with inclusivity. I hadn't realized how many people hadn't found somewhere they felt comfortable
Yeah.
until they found ChiChi Fit. And I know it's happening elsewhere, thank goodness, because it would be a
Yeah.
big burden if they all had to find ChiChi Fit. But obviously, if you're looking for an inclusive community, it is ChiChi Fit. Um,
And show tunes, right? Like the musicals.
oh,
Like, because
yeah.
that's a big part of your brand is like that's what you teach is the being on Broadway, those dances and that kind of music.
So yeah, when you step into the door of ChiChi Fit, I call it a fitness experience because
Yeah.
it sort of transcends beyond a traditional workout. You come in, music's already playing from the shows. You immediately hear something that gets you moving before I've even encouraged anyone to move. You're immediately singing or humming along before you even mean to.
Yeah.
And the minute the class begins, a lot of the terminology is to make everyone in that room feel like they have stepped onto a Broadway stage,
Oh,
to let them live the dream, to feel the glamour, the lights, the spotlight, the
yeah.
self, make them the star. I love that
Yeah.
dimension, making people feel more special than they've ever
Mm,
felt.
mm,
And I think ChiChi Fit naturally does. It's not because of me, because all my instructors everywhere have this ability to. And I think you're right. It's the music. I don't think I know. Um, Everyone raves about the incredible choreography and how the routines are so easy to follow and so accessible for everyone. That's great, but
Yeah.
it's not that. It's the music.
Yeah.
I didn't write it. I didn't compose it,
Yeah.
but by golly, show tunes are good.
Yeah.
Um, and they
Sounds like
tap in.
sounds like you get transported to a different world when they step into your class.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's the experience I want them to have. And don't get me wrong, at the end of a 45-minute class, all our classes are 45 minutes, they're sweaty, they're glowing, they've worked hard, their
Yeah.
little hearts have been pounding, they've done some strength work, but all of it has sort of just blurred into an experience of feeling like they are living that show
Yeah.
one after another. Um, and I think I'm still learning now. We're 6 years in. Um, it still overwhelms me actually, and I'm still learning the power of a show tune. But
Hmm.
I truly feel like it's medicine,
Yeah.
certainly medicine to the mind. And I'm really grateful. I don't know if you've seen the new Wicked movie that's
I have
recent.
not yet. No. Mm-mm.
Well, what's been lovely about that is it's opened the musical doors, the musical theatre doors to a much wider audience
Okay.
because, going to the theatre these days is a bit exclusive because it's not cheap. It's not easy to go and see these shows, which saddens me a bit.
Yeah.
Um, and some people know a lot of shows really well. Some people have never seen a show. And I've also discovered with ChiChi
Mm.
Fit that you don't have to be a lover of musicals or even have seen a musical to step
Yeah.
into a class and fall in love with it. And it's another element that quietly, it's part of my quiet dream is to make everyone fall in love with musical theatre, with show tunes, and also maybe bring theatre into the lives of people who'd never considered that theatre could
Yeah.
be a wonderful thing to experience.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just this kind of weirdly crazy passionate theatre lover, musical theatre
You can
lover.
definitely see the passion and hear it coming through. Like you are just you light up when when you're talking about it. It's
And
beautiful.
I just want everyone to experience that, whether it's in a Chi
I
Fit
would
club
love to experience
or
it. I think that would be totally fun. Just so like, because I think it's like you said, the experience is probably so like inspiring and like a stress relief, and it just like allows you to kind of like lay everything out there and just get in the moment and not think about all these other stressors that we have in our life, right? Because you can there are workout classes, yoga like you mentioned, you can go to like another fitness class at a gym, and it's like very regimented, where I think where you're learning to dance and doing something fun, like just like using that creativity side, that creative side too, is very like I think it does something to our soul.
I think it does something very early on in life to people's souls. And this is another part of something that saddens me a bit. It's so familiar when people come to a Chi Fit class for the first time. And when they go to leave, I say, how was that? You look like you're having a
Yeah.
great time. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't tell you. It tapped into memories
Mm,
of childhood when my
yeah.
mom used to take me to dance classes, when I did the school shows, and I've not touched on that world since.
Yeah.
But what are they doing? They've got kids and they're sending them to dance classes and
Yeah.
all of those things. It's like, why can't grown-ups
Yeah.
keep singing and dancing? So for me, a big part of my message is keep living that hobby. It's a
Yeah.
hobby. And this one just happens to be wrapped up in the fitness world,
Yeah.
which is just a double tick. You get fit and
Yeah.
fabulous at the
I
same
love it.
time. But it's a hobby, really.
Yeah.
And I think when fitness becomes a hobby, it's very easy to commit to because you love it.
Totally agree.
Mm.
100%. We're starting to get a little short here on time, so I want to just cover a couple other things. You do certify people to teach this mode of fitness, for ChiChi Fit. What does that look like for someone if they're interested in doing that?
So it's really simple. The prerequisites primarily are a passion for people, community, music, ideally theatre. If
Yeah.
you can dance, that's great. But if you can't, that's also great. We can train you. Remember, we're teaching people who might never have danced before as
Yeah.
well. So you're
Yeah.
not learning to become dancers. You just will look and feel like a dancer without needing to be one. So you can train on demand in your own
Okay.
time at home. It's from the day you purchase the on-demand training, which is on ChiChi Fit's
Yeah.
website. You've got 6 weeks to complete the training. It's the on-demand trainings are very new, actually. We only launched them at the start of
Oh,
2025,
wow.
and
Okay.
the feedback has been phenomenal because I was
Awesome.
always training live,
Yeah.
and I'm very passionate about the connection I make with every instructor we
Sure.
train. No one is faceless, everyone matters, and I want
Mm,
that connection with them. I was concerned that on demand wouldn't work, but when you've got people in the US and
yeah.
people in Australia wanting to train, it becomes a challenge.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the on demand, I spent 2 years
Wow.
putting it together and launched it in January. And what I wanted to hear in response to its release by the people who are already on the program is exactly what I've heard, which is they feel like they're in the room with me,
Mm,
that I'm talking directly to them. It's just one day, it takes just one day. Obviously,
yeah.
you can do it across different hours and
Sure.
then practice time. You get to do a masterclass with me or pre-recorded, and then you break down all those routines so you learn how to teach them, what shows they're from, what musicals, how they tap into people's
Wow.
hearts, and then you learn all the skills of building your own ChiChi Fit business, the promoting it, the social media side of things. ChiChi Fit hold your hand and cheer for you in the wings every step of the way, so you're never alone. You become part of what we call the ChiChi cast, and our cast are our instructors. And then you're in charge of your own business, so you
Wow.
can teach as many classes a week as you like in whatever suitable venue. Yeah, and just bringing this joy
Sure.
into people's lives wherever you are.
I love it. And where can people find you, connect with you, and learn more about ChiChi Fit?
Website is great, chichifit.co.uk, or our Instagram, which is chichifit.dancefit. There's a lot on there, lots of really exciting things. If you want to visit a really happy place that will bring a smile to your face, that will elevate your mood every single day, ChiChi's Instagram and Facebook pages are a very happy place to visit, to just tap into the joys of theatre and showbiz, fitness, community, everything.
Excellent. You guys, and put those links in the show notes. So if you want to learn more about ChiChi Fit, whether you want to take a class or if you want to become certified as an instructor, go click the links, go follow on Instagram, on social, and just see where it takes you. This is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice, Danella. So what would you like to leave with us today?
I would like to say that for anyone listening concerned about aging and the aging process and that journey, and whether you're in the stages of menopause or in the throes of young children and exhaustion, um, you are not your age, you are
Hmm.
your energy. So if you keep moving and you're energized, I promise you, people will assume you are vastly younger than you actually are.
Boom, mic drop. I love that. You are not your age, you are your energy. That was absolutely fantastic. Danella, this was so beautiful listening to your story and how passionate you are about empowering women and allowing them to have fun and be and just be passionate about dancing and show tunes and just like getting all caught up in that whole vibe. It's amazing. So thank you so much for being such a dynamic guest and we really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Jazz hands to everyone.
You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu, Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.